All right, well, I think we can get going here, respect everybody's time and get going. Today's presentation will be really long. It's just a nice quick topic that we're going to cover today. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Tara Sweet, and I'm joined here with Mitchell Bolt. And today we're going to discuss our unique affiliate solution we call Muddy Boots Connect, which allows you to connect your service providers to Muddy Boots so they can record directly in your Muddy Boots application. So with this feature, you have complete control over the access that you allow your service providers into your Muddy Boots. So we're going to cover the Muddy Boots Connect capability, how our clients are utilizing the affiliation solution to increase efficiencies, how you go about setting that up, admin updates and user maintenance, as well as assigning work orders and scheduled requests. And we'll also have a Q&A section at the end. So we're going to cover the functionality of Muddy Boots Connect. And if this is something that you decide to implement, we'll be here to guide you through that process and set it up so that it really meets your business needs. I will be pausing for some question breaks as we go, but if something comes to mind, feel free to drop that in the chat, and Mitch will keep an eye on any questions and hop in where it makes sense.
Perfect.
All right, so the Muddy Boots capability. So Muddy Boots Connect allows you to affiliate your service providers to your Muddy Boots application. So this allows your service providers to record the work they're already performing at your sites and on your equipment directly in Muddy Boots, just like your staff is currently doing. Individual service provider employee accounts are set up so you know exactly who recorded the work. It won't show up, as just ADC Electric. It will show the actual employee's name. So if there's any questions or any follow-up that needs to be done, you know who to contact. So how our clients are utilizing the affiliation solution to increase efficiencies really goes for anything that you're hiring a third party to do can be assigned and recorded directly in Muddy Boots. So activities like meter calibrations, proving reports, maintenance requests, and work orders can all be completed in Muddy Boots. Scheduling and completed activity reports are now in one platform, which allows you to reduce phone calls and emails and file sharing between you and your service providers, really streamlining communication and the work management. So these schedules and completed work are visible for both your internal users and your linked affiliates, again, reducing the need for some of that external communications regarding status updates. Everything becomes visible in Muddy Boots. In instances where there are co-owned facilities, non-operating stakeholders can be granted view access to see the scheduling and reporting, but they can be limited to a specific field within your Muddy Boots hierarchy. So with Muddy Boots Connect, you're in control of the level of access that a service provider has, including control at the field levels. And we're going to cover more on that in a minute. Any questions so far? Find my chat button. Anything popping up there, Mitch?
No, we're good. I got it, Terry. Yeah.
Okay, good. Struggling to find that button. Okay, so let's hop into Muddy Boots. I'm working in our demo space and I am on the affiliation screen. So I was able to get here through our company admin affiliations link here. So if you have the company admin role, this is where you will find any of the affiliates that have been set up. So if there is an affiliate that you would like to start working with in Muddy Boots or service provider that you want to have connected to your application, The first step is to contact us at support@muddyboots.online and just request that affiliate be added. So, we need their company name and we can get that entered into Muddy Boots for you. Once that's added, your company admin role can begin assigning the different layers of access that you want to provide to that affiliate company. So we're going to have a look here today at Carson Oilfield Service. So they're already set up in our demo space, and here at a quick glance, we can see, by these check marks, all of the different permissions and roles that are applied to this company. And to edit them, I'm just going to click here on this blue company name. And here is where we get to edit the roles and, just the different layers of security that are applied. So because this is our demo space, we have given Carson Oilfield pretty much all of the permissions so that we don't hit any roadblocks when we're presenting this information. But if you need a little bit more information as to, what this role encompasses, you can just click on the details here, and that'll just help you make a decision as to what roles you want to apply to that company. So as we scroll down, we can also then take a look at the activity-based roles. So if you have a company that's maybe just doing your E&I work, or is maybe just doing rotating equipment work, you can select those different activity-based roles here, and then those are the only activities that they'll be able to see and record. So again, we can expand those different roles and have a look at the activities that are assigned to that role. The ones here in green are the activities that are currently active in this space. The ones in black here we don't have turned on. So this really gives us an idea of what activities the service provider will be able to record. So this is again at a company level. So this is for Carson Oilfield. And so then next we can have a look at the field access that we grant to the service providers. So if they're just working in one specific field, we can check that here, and then that's all that they're going to be able to see in the system. So if it makes sense geographically, or maybe you have one service provider that works in one field but not another, you can limit that access here. If you leave them all checked off, then they have access to all of the fields listed here. On the right-hand side, we can see the people that are already set up for this affiliate company. So we've got Glenn Kelly in there, Mitch and Mario and myself were in there, and we can see the roles that are assigned to each of those individual users. Just checking my notes here. So there are a couple of ways that the users can be managed within the affiliate company. So first, that would be you as the producing company could manage those users. So it's really very similar to how you manage your own users and grant those accesses and set up their accounts. The other would be if the affiliating company has other Muddy Boots clients, they aren't probably going to be keen on having you as an administrator of their users. So they'll manage that on their own. But that's certainly something that will help you figure out, if this was something that you wanted to implement and just, what would make sense most for your situation. Great, so that's users. Any questions so far on user access?
Nothing in the chat that I can see, but yeah, if anybody has anything they want to, talk about, now's the time.
Great. Anything you want to add there? I think we got her covered. Yep. Okay. Great. So next comes to really assigning this work so that your service providers can begin reporting work in Muddy Boots, and you can start assigning them work. So the first thing that we will suggest is that you create user groups for your service providers. And we can do that by going again through company admin into the users and user groups. And we suggest using a user group rather than, say, assigning an individual to a work order or a scheduled request, because things happen, people go on vacation or they're away or they're no longer with the company. And if something is assigned to an individual, it's not going to be viewable to the rest of the people within that service provider. So here we've created a group for our Carson oil field. So, it's really easy to create a user group, call it what you like, add your users. I'm going to go back here and edit. So we have a couple of Carson oil field employees here in this user group. And when I click on here to add more users, I can see right away we have some other employees that are set up with that affiliate company. So I can add them here. And now they will all be able to see the work that is assigned to this user group. So we'll just update that. Okay, so next we're going to get into assigning work. So let's go into work orders. So work orders or corrective actions. If you have work that is, let's clear this. If you have work that you want to assign to that group, we can come in here and have a look at our work orders. Say, let's have a look at our new work orders. And we can have a look here to see what's assigned. So we have one work order currently assigned to Carson oil field, but maybe there's this work order here. We want to assign this work order to Carson. So if I click on this work order number, we can see here that there's, I think that this came from a well inspection. We found some work that needed to be done. The windsock needs to be replaced. So let's send Carson oil field out to fix that. So if we edit this work order, we can now assign that to our Carson oil field group. And we're just going to update that here. Oh, this particular one needs a workflow, so that's fine. We'll just update that here. Okay, so this has now been assigned to Carson oil field group. We can also schedule this at this time now if we know that maybe tomorrow is a good day for them to go out. Maybe we've had a phone call with them and we're lining up some work. We've let them know we're going to put a few things into their scheduled requests. We can go ahead and schedule that here as well. This is a work order request, I think here. Is this where, am I on the wrong place to schedule this? Work order request. And we're going to get them to work on that tomorrow. And now it's in our scheduled requests. So if we go back to our work orders, take off my new status. I believe that was number 48. Will be in here and it is now assigned to Carson oil field group. If we want to just add a work order, if we know that there's something has come up and we need repair done, we can also create a work order at a particular site or piece of equipment, and again, assign that to Carson oil field group. Any questions so far?
I'll just say one thing, Tara, right from the work order page. Just as a note, so because you've assigned it to a group, everybody within that working company, if they come and look at the work orders within your working space, they're only going to see those items assigned to their group. And within the work order, if you may have noticed a little mail button. You can send them an instant email notification to notify them that they've had this work assigned if they're not, somebody who's traditionally navigating the platform, right? So if you were to go to that work order 48 and then click the little email button, you can send out a notification that will provide a link to this work order and give them details from that work order, right? So it just allows you to, notify that group efficiently without having to, do too many more steps to let them know, right? You don't have to compose an email or make a phone call. Okay. Sorry, Tara, I didn't mean to jump in too much, but
No, that's great. I didn't have that written here in my outline, so that's great. Thank you. Okay, so that is work orders. So we can also assign work. So if there's things that we have scheduled, recurring work, we can also schedule that here. So we can, if you know that there's, let's just narrow this down maybe. See what's going on maybe this month. So if there's some well inspections, maybe there's a couple of well inspections, we can multi-assign, we can multi-edit scheduled requests. So if we have a few well inspections, say we want to assign to that Carson oil field, we're going to switch it from the ops group. We can just click here on this green pencil and we're just going to put in Carson. We can put any notes in here that we like, and we can update that with just a couple of clicks. And now those are assigned to Carson oil field. Now this won't send them a notification saying, that a scheduled request has been changed and is now assigned to. So, there is that external communication there to let them know that, maybe schedules have changed or things have been added or removed from their schedule. Okay, so when it comes to recording the activities, they can record really the same way that you do, whether that's from this page here or the work orders page or from a run sheet. And when you, if this is something that you want to implement, we'll certainly help you figure out the best way, that aligns with your current processes so that it's a really smooth transition for you and your service providers when it comes to recording the work in here. But we can certainly record that in here. They can fill out the form, however that might look. We can enable attachments to be added to any of the activity forms. So if that's not currently enabled, that's certainly something that we can enable for you. Sometimes the activity forms are just a really simple, the work has been completed. Are there corrective actions, yes or no? And then maybe the service provider, attaches their own files or documents. So really whatever works best for you there. Yeah, any questions about that?
Just said that the service providers wouldn't see such a large list if you've limited their roles, right? So
for sure. Oops. So here we can have a look too. What's assigned to Carson, but yeah, this is essentially what they would see just based on the roles and permissions that you have granted them. That's right. So yeah, so they can certainly record from a run sheet, just like your operations currently does. And so they would just, load the run sheet while they're online, and then they can work offline with that as well, and then just make sure that they come back into service once they're done the work and upload those records for you. So that all works the same as your operations is currently using it. Then I guess when you get going with this, we'll help you customize a dashboard that, really makes sense for your service providers, and we'll show you how you can apply that to those users, or, certainly show their administrator how to apply that to the different users within the affiliate company. And this is just a nice place to start from and have a look at the work that's assigned to them, and just get there really quickly, right? So this is pulling all of the scheduled requests for any of the groups that I am a part of. It pulls my name here because that's how I'm logged in. And I can see here, some of the work that my group is tardy on, some of the things that we've completed or missed. All of that's right here.
One of the best functions here is, you don't always have the same service provider. They don't have resources to meet your needs, or you found someone that better meshes with your company culture, and you want to change out who these are assigned to. You can go right from here, select, reassign these to a different service provider, and then modify, this Carson Oilfield service provider. You could modify their access and take away their access to your to your company portal, right? So they wouldn't lose their logins, but they wouldn't have access while they're not doing work for you. Right? It just allows you to kind of turn on and off that portal into your environment.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Great. The last thing I wanted to touch on was workflows. So if you're using the workflow functionality on any of your activities, say hazard IDs, if you wanted your service providers to record and capture any hazard IDs that they're finding on your sites, and say you have a hazard ID workflow process so that the right people are notified, they can certainly kick off those workflows from those activities. It doesn't interrupt the current processes that you have in place as far as workflows. Great. Well, that covers my agenda. Any questions?
Or maybe I missed it, but did you note the the ability of the affiliates to manage their own employees, so you don't have to? I may have missed that. I'm not always the best listener, so I apologize there.
No, that's okay. I don't think I did go into there. So looking at it this way, so as this working company, Demo, Ops, and Maintain, I can see the affiliations that we already have in this working space. So this could essentially be a list of the service providers that we're working with inside of Muddy Boots. So if I wanted to edit Carson Oilfield Services, I would click on that company here, and now I can go into the company admin under the user list. And I can see here the staff that we have assigned to Carson Oilfield. I can see here on my crumb trail that that's the company that I'm currently working in.
Feel free to take away my roles.
Take away your roles? All right, here
That's
we go.
Fine.
Okay, so I can certainly edit them here. Maybe we're going to take a few things away, or maybe I've been notified that Mitch is no longer with Carson. I can also delete him here, which I won't do today. So we'll just take away a few of his roles. He's no longer doing these things. And now I can update this user.
And within your working space, if you've only given a service provider 2 roles, they're only going to have access to 2 roles to apply and take away. So you limit what access the entire company has, and then they can manage their own employees within that, subset of security roles.
Right. And this here too is where we can add a new user. So if your service provider says, hey, we have Joe, he's working with us now, we can enter him here and, assign him the appropriate roles. And like Mitch said, whatever we turned on at Carson Oilfield at a company level will appear here for us to select. And
Sorry,
we
Terry,
just-
it would appear on the right-hand side, right? This would be the service company, and then on the right-hand side, those panels would have roles that you could assign. That's where it would be limited.
right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so this is where you would create a user and then it would send them an email to activate their account. So to hop out of Carson Oilfield, we hop back into our operating company. And again, if we have a look at that affiliations, this is where we can edit the company access that Carson Oilfield has by adding or removing permissions there. So if you find that maybe you've given them too much or not enough permissions for the work that you need done, that's where that happens. But we'll help you navigate that, of course, if that's something that you wanted to implement. Good. Anything else, Mitch?
No, I think you nailed it. So we really were here to show you today, just our portal for service providers. We didn't really mention it, but we do actually have, sometimes you just have a working interest and they just need to have visibility on reports. So, if you're sharing a facility that, your operating facility owned by someone else, they might want to look at your meter calibrations. So you can give them access to this where they can view these activities, the recorded activities, but have no access to actually record anything themselves or do any editing or, really get their fingers dirty in your data, right? So it's another portal to kind of prevent you from having to pull exports, send emails around to inform, other stakeholders in an operation. So that's just kind of coming from the other way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and I'd say thanks everybody for your time, and we'll go with the unmute here if anybody wants to ask any additional questions. And I believe, Terry, you're the host, so I think you would have to do the unmuting. I don't think I have access to do that right now.
I don't know how to do that.
Just on the participant panel, if you hover, you'll be able to request such things.
Just says ask to unmute. Allowed to talk.
Does anybody have any questions here this afternoon?
Go ahead and throw it in the chat too if this microphone's not working. And as always, we're here if any questions do come up. We'll send out a recap of this call tomorrow, and it really just highlights, the different areas that we covered today. But if something does come up, if you have a question, feel free to reach out to us at support@muddyboots.online. Awesome.
Great. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the day and more agreeable weather than we have up here. We got lots of snow coming down finally. So
Thanks so much for joining.
bye for now.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Kim. Bye now.